As I'm recording this intro, I am packing to go to Vegas tomorrow. This is the first time that I've gone to Vegas that it hasn't been for like a bachelorette party or some sort of celebration. I'm going to Vegas to work. I have a keynote on Tuesday. I get to speak at Shalene Johnson's Be More Camp, which I'm so excited about. I mean, gosh, lately I set a really clear intention a couple weeks ago. I'm like, my intention is to bring breathwork to the masses and combine my love of teaching breathwork and helping people wake up through somatic healing with my love of public speaking and keynote speaking and just combining those together. And it's funny what happens in life when you set a really strong intention. Like, this is what I desire. And you feel that desire in every single cell of your body. It's been so wild, you guys, the invitations and just overflow of people being like, come do your keynote here, come do your keynote here, come on this trip, come do this. And it's really quite wild what happens when we are so clear with the universe. I find the times in my life where I feel frustrated and it just feels annoying is when my vision isn't clear and my come from feels like energetically mucky. And when I clean that up and I get really quiet and still and I ask myself, Sam, what is it that you actually want? Like, what is it that you really, really want? And it's like when we embody that energy, when we choose it, when we declare it, when we become it, the universe responds to us in such a magical way. You know, it's like whether it's something in your career or something in your health or something in your relationships or whatever it is, the more clear we can be in our declaration and our deciding of that thing, the more the universe just ships us exactly what we want. I always get this like funny visual of being at In-N-Out and like if we're like confusing the dude taking our order, it's like, I want a cheeseburger, no milkshake, no actually fries, no actually, I don't even know. Do I even want to be here? Like imagine the result we would get versus like, hey, I want a cheeseburger and a side of fries, animal style. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how clear can we be with the universe knowing that the more clarity we have, the more we get it delivered, right? The universe is literally God, universe, source, whatever, is always conspiring in our favor. Like think of God, think of life, think of the universe as this like beautiful lover that just wants to give us everything that we want, but we have to be so clear. And it's like this beautiful dance. And I think sometimes in life, that's one of the hardest things of like really actually embodying and deciding like, this is what I want. This is what I get to have. Alrighty, on to today's episode. You guys, I had the pleasure of sitting down with one of my really good friends, John Wang. Oh my gosh, this conversation is going to light something up inside of you. I promise you, it was so powerful. We're diving deep into a topic that's been overdue, right? It's really about having an unapologetic voice and really understanding how to sift through stereotypes that keep us stuck, right? These identities that we have that keep us in these boxes. And John is really ushering in this new way of being, this new era of confidence, this new era of expansive leadership. So his new book that's coming out is called Big Asian Energy, but his book is for everybody who feels like they're unseen, they're living underneath their potential, and they are massively underestimating himself, or they are massively underestimating their potential. So in this interview, John shares personal stories. He shares his cultural insights and just freaking game-changing frameworks that has really helped him fuel his mission. We talk about the silent pressures that so many people face. We talk about internalized narratives that can really limit our power, and most importantly, how we can really begin to break free from some of those scripts. And sometimes we write those scripts, sometimes society writes those scripts and we just listen to them. But this episode really calls forth our ability to discern and choose and ask ourselves, do I still consent to this belief system? Do I still consent to this way of being? And giving us permission to just like light a fire under our butt and say no to the things that are no longer aligned. This conversation is going to really help you break free from those scripts and step into a bigger, bolder version of who you are meant to be. And before we dive in, I want to share with you guys, I created this 3-minute somatic experience typically for coaches and leaders who are feeling like they have this mission inside of them, but imposter syndrome just hijacks your ability to take action, or you just feel stuck in this feeling of like, I'm not good enough. My work's not good enough. I'm not not there yet. I need more training. I need more this. I need more whatever you need. If you're somebody that has that feeling inside of you, I've created a 3-minute breathwork experience that you can have on hand, on demand, 24/7, so you can get rid of that imposter syndrome and finally get into action. So just head to pausebreathwork.com/imposter. That's a weird word to spell, so I've also put it in the show notes of this episode. All right, my loves, let's dive in.
Can't be contained.
That's what I'm talking about. I love how you started that with an exhale. That's so on brand, John Wang. That's so on brand.
For me or for you? I feel like that's more on brand for you. Something about breathing. I heard you do breathing.
You're a deep breather too. I notice. You know when I notice you deep breathe? When I give you a compliment. It's like you're really soaking in that compliment in every single cell of your body.
I try. And I'll tell you why. Because for like the vast majority of my life, I could not handle hearing a compliment without immediately experiencing shame.
Shame.
Yeah. It's weird, right? So, and I like, this is somewhere between parenting and culture, but like speaking of culture, when I was growing up, I was always taught that like, if somebody gives you a compliment, you can't just receive it. It's actually rude. It's not only rude, but it's like extremely selfish and narcissistic to do so. So the first thing was, so I would go to these like family dinners with like family friends, like aunties and uncles and stuff like that. And it was like a cultural thing when they would just be like, oh yeah, like you're growing up and you look great. And the actual script that I was taught was that your first thing was you have to immediately go, no. My thing is nothing, but let's talk about how great your kids are.
Oh, wow.
And like that was, so I felt that anyone who was pointing something out, my inner critic would just get immediately triggered and be like, well, that's not good enough to actually deserve praise. They're not really praising you. They're just being polite. So now I've had to learn to kind of just take a moment and be like, let me receive that. Let me let my little inner child hear that and tell him that it's okay for him to be seen and that he deserved that.
Dude, do you know what's really refreshing? You know what's really refreshing? Yeah. A grown-ass man who's embodied and integrated in his masculine, having a connection to his inner child. Like, it's fucking awesome. It really is. You know, it really is. Yeah. It really is. It's like the ability to have that awareness of, hey, this is what this little part of me needs. I act out because this little part of me, like, it's so rare that I hear that. And it's such a testament that to the work that you've done and who you are. And it's just amazing. I love that.
This is me. This is live.
Am I making this really awkward for you? Because I'm going to compliment you this entire podcast. I'm just kidding.
You can't. I live in between. I own the awkwardness now. But I will say this because I 100% agree. And you know, this is where a big part of my work started, was working with men actually. Because when I was going through the work, I was like, so much of this conditioning, especially if you're a guy, is that you're not supposed to feel things.
Yeah.
There's so much emotional shutdown and there's so much, and it really comes down to self-judgment when you are experiencing emotion. So yeah, like this was big for me too. I actually think if more men, and I'm just gonna say this, did that work of connecting specifically with their inner child, I think the amount of relationships that are out there that could improve. Yeah. Not to say that women, don't have, I'm not going to speak on women in that regard.
You're like, but I don't have a vagina.
I don't have a vagina to speak on. But I do think that so much of it is because women are already so comfortable. Yeah. And they don't have that social conditioning and that you can talk about it. That if men were to be more open, it's just letting our inner childs go and hang out with them.
100%. 100%. You know what's interesting? When Eric and I first started dating, the thought of like him connecting to his inner child was non-existent. Like he was like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And 5 years later, and honestly, like you and Amy are such role models for Eric and I. Your relationship is so amazing. I love your love. I just love your love. I love finding amazing couples who have just a powerful relationship. But, Amy used to always say, like, yeah, when John and I get in conversations, we talk about like his inner child, my inner child, and what they need. And I'm like, I love that so much. And so I started just doing it naturally in my relationship with Eric, of like, hey babe, when this happens, my inner child, this is the story that my inner child is making up. And so it was so cool last night. Something like we were just on the couch and I think I might have said something that triggered Eric and then he had a reaction to something. And then we had this very mature conversation about our triggers. I'm like, hey, my inner child feels so unseen because when you said that, and he's like, oh, interesting. He's like, my inner child reacted to that because it needed, I know. I was like, this is so mature. Like, wow. And then it like alchemized within 3 minutes and we were just back to connection. It was so quick. Whereas without the languaging, without the awareness of like, hey, the reaction's not my aligned, powerful self. It's this little part of me. So my question to you is, typically my audience, so a lot of the women who listen to this podcast are, let's say, a little farther along in their spiritual personal development journey than their partners. And sometimes that creates tension, right? And they're always in the conversation of like, should I stay or should I go? And so my question to you is, as a man, how, if a woman wants their man to be more connected to his emotionality, his inner child, it's so hard for women to be like, hey, you should connect to your inner child. But what are some ways or tools that you can support women listening to this show to help their man open up a little bit and access a little bit more of his emotional body?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, as a guy, when I was going through my own journey, before I went through my own healing process, if you had said, hey, I want you to connect your inner child more, my first reaction is going to be, oh, shit, I'm doing it wrong. And I will go into that shame circle. And it's so subtle because you won't, like, so many men that I've worked with over the years, they don't know, they don't have that languaging. Literally. They've never been taught to speak the language of emotions because it's a new language. It's like you could say, hey, can you speak Portuguese to me for an entirety of dinner? That would be us equal. Here's what we want. We want to do right by you. We want to be your man. We want to be that for you. But when we hear that we're doing it wrong, then we go into defensive. Then we go, okay, let me pick up my shield. Let me hide a little bit more. And we shut down. So here's what I found works is the reminder that we're in it together. That it's not that you need to do more, be more, feel more, but it's that we could do this. So one of the things that we set up in my relationship early on was the rule of it's you and me versus the patterns. It's never you versus me. We are never we're just always here to be and support one another's needs and values. And that shifted for me.
Beautiful. So good. So good. So good. Yeah. It's like when we strip it all down, it's like we're just two little kids trying to get our needs met. And when we don't make it about the other person. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? The Burning Man photo? With the two adults sitting back to back and the two kids. That's us. Every relationship. Every relationship. We just want to be seen, heard, and belong.
Whether it's female relationships, friendships, everything.
Even work relationships,
100%. It's like every single people issue in my life, it's like my first come from is like, if there's tension in a relationship, the question that I ask myself is, how can I see and hear this person even more? And and then that's basically all you need to do. After that, relationships become so easy, relationships become so easy.
Absolutely. I would even go as far as to say, if you take a look at some of the bigger social struggles, even political struggles, like what we experience in our society is just people going, I just want to be seen and heard. And then the other side going, well, if you're seen and heard, what if that means that I'm not seen and heard anymore and I want to be seen and heard? And that's where we get into these interpersonal conflicts.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's like everyone, like we all get to have a voice. We all get to take up space. We all, like, your feelings are valid. Your opinion is valid. And if we don't agree on that, that's totally fine. You know?
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Yeah. Like how often do we really agree with each other? I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we love, like, I love you, Sam, so much. You're one of my favorite people. I'm sure there's going to be time, like, it's like, talking about you and Amy about like country music, right? Like, so for context, my wife Amy.
Oh my goodness.
Does not like country music at all.
Guys,
can't stand it. Hugely.
For context, my best friend is John's wife. For context, that's this infamous Amy that we're talking about. She likes to play behind the scenes and not be known.
No, that's right.
She doesn't like the limelight.
We're dragging her into the limelight here.
Yeah, we're like, come on our socials. She's like, no, go away. Anyway, her and I, it's so funny. We've fought about, the only thing that we've ever fought about in our entire life is country music, because she hates it and I love it. And a couple of years ago, she came down to San Diego and she was visiting me, and I was playing country music, and she's like, if you don't turn that off, I will jump out of the car. And we're on like 5 highway. And I was like, this is a chance I'm willing to take. I don't know what to say. She's like, I'm so mad at you right now. I was like, that's all right.
Over country music.
Literally, that's the only thing we fight over.
Oh my gosh.
I think she's coming around now. Like, I think her like despise of it is less and less and less as we've become better and better friends.
Yeah. And as her and I would live together, like little things like that, right? Like I will sometimes I love music. I can't, and I have ADD, so I have stuff playing in the background all the time. And used to trigger her, where she can't stand being around like passive background stuff. And now she loves it, or now she accepts it.
Amy and I
so
always
disagreements are normal. Yeah,
exactly. We always said like, hey, if we were lesbians, we'd marry each other. And so we're not. So we just had to find each other in a man. And so like Amy is Eric Moeller and me and you are so
100%. Oh, 100%. 100%.
It's great. It's great. It's great. It's so good. It's so good. So when you talk to us a little bit about like the before of you and your journey of like going through your healing journey. What was the catalyst that brought you into not only going through your own healing journey, but also then creating this epic movement to really help people all around the world step into their power, step into their greatness, and break through ceilings, break through barriers, break through cultural conditioning, break through everything to be able to really rise into their power?
Yeah, wow, that's that's a huge question.
Ready?
But let's go. I think for me, it was like I was born in Taipei, and I grew up with, I would say, traditional Asian parenting styles, which is to say, high expectations are fairly strict. We're not a monolith, and these are stereotypes, but like I was definitely somebody who fell into that stereotype. And so I grew up with this feeling like my worth is dependent on my achievements. Like that's how I define myself. My achievements is there. And there was 2 big lessons that I learned growing up. One was that like if I become successful, because, go be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever it is, then I would have honored my family. I would have done my role as being a good kid, as being a good child, even if I'm an adult. And the second one that I learned that wasn't quite as direct, perhaps a little bit more subtly, was how to keep myself quiet. And what I'm talking about is exactly what we were talking about before, which is, let's say, talking about feelings. That was just not done in my household.
Yeah.
My household didn't talk about feelings. It was just like my parents, they didn't use that kind of language. To this day, my dad's way of showing me love is still, bringing like pastries and food to and being like, hey, I bought 80,000 oranges. Would you like 40,000 oranges? I'm like, no, Dad, thanks. So that was, or the other thing was that I became a really good listener because, let's say my mom was having a day. She'd come to me and she'd tell me about all her problems, and I became really good at listening. because that was how I viewed love was how do I better listen and hold space. So these are all the little subtle childhood patterns that I picked up. How to be a caretaker, how to be a people pleaser, how to be these things. And I never identified or labeled them. I just thought this is how you become a human. All through my early, stages of adulthood, I just played those out, right? Like I pushed myself in work. I started a business. I felt like, okay, finally, I'm successful. I'm doing it right. But there was always this inner conflict between how I was constantly judging how I was showing up in the world as not good enough, as being an imposter, as all the things. And also this enormous pressure to achieve and to do more, to be more. And that led me to burnout in the most spectacularly destructive way possible. It was over the course of something like 6 months' time. Everything in my life broke down at once. I had just gone through a breakup. I was, depressed. I was, if we could, go through that part, I felt suicidal. I didn't know why I was doing any of the things that I was doing. I felt completely lost. So that was probably the first time that I realized, okay, either the journey comes to an end or I figure out how to stop feeling so disconnected from myself. And that was when my brother-in-law actually was in a men's group, like a men's support group, and kind of said, hey, this is something that's for you.
Yeah.
And my first reaction was, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
A bunch of men feeling their feelings.
A group of dudes sitting
good.
in a living room
good.
feeling and talking about feelings? What?
Like, not so
No
much.
chance.
Not for me at all. Thanks.
No.
Thanks, but we're
No
good.
thanks.
Yeah.
No, I just need to work harder, right? But, I loved him and he's amazing. So I went and I sat with these dudes who spent 2-3 hours a week talking about what they were going through. And the first few weeks, I was just sitting there judging them. And I was just like, this isn't for me, but I'll show up. I'll do the work. And then one day, somebody pointed out that I hadn't been sharing, or I only shared what was good. You ever do that thing where it's I'll only share when I've gone through it?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Like I'll share my struggles once I'm on the other side. And that's what I kept doing. And somebody called me out. It was another guy who was just like, no. Like, what is actually going on? And it hit me for some reason. I think just the way he said it, he was just like, it's whatever you're going through. Like, you've been carrying so much of this alone. And what if you just release that a little bit?
Yeah.
And I think that I just started crying. I was sitting in the room. Somebody had his hand up my shoulders and my back, and I just remember just saying, yeah, it is so hard. And the tears started coming. I started breathing deeper and deeper. And all the men, including my brother-in-law, gathered around me and put their hands on my back. And I remember feeling like I have never felt supported like that. Yeah. Because I was always conditioned to think I have to do it alone. And I never realized how much I was carrying. It wasn't just my own expectations of myself. It was the stories my parents passed down to me of this is who you're supposed to be in the world. This is how you carry that energy. And how that led me to hiding who I really was. And I'm saying hiding, I don't mean that I was staying quiet. I'm hiding because I didn't know how to let my true self be seen. Yeah. I knew how to play the character of myself.
For sure. Like posturing as happy and enthusiastic and powerful, but behind.
Being the charmer. Yeah,
for sure.
Being the achiever.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I think I was like, what if it's okay? I didn't know how to carry that anymore. Yeah. That was the pivotal moment that changed everything.
There's such bravery in that. And there gets to be this radical ego death when we let go and put down the sword or put down the high achiever, put down the perfectionism, because it's like, yeah, we're posturing as this person because there's such an unmet need of this little one behind us. That's like, I'm really scared of not being loved. I'm really scared of not being seen. I'm really, really, really scared. So the bravery to surrender and really get with that little one.
Yeah.
Is so powerful.
For me, I think it was, I would love to call it bravery. I think for me, it just had to be a point where I realized if I didn't make a change, no one is coming to save me. No one else can ever, no relationship, no date can ever fill that need that was there to be seen and truly be acknowledged.
Yeah.
And yeah, things had to change.
You know, I find it really fascinating as you're sharing that. My stuff comes up in business more so than it does personally or in my relationships. It's like the strong one that's on the outside, you know, it's like that part of me, I have to be so aware that my inner child is not posturing in order to like show up in business a certain way. And it requires like such a like reclamation of like reclaiming my true self, shedding that perfectionism, shedding that high achiever, shedding, or even things in the business. Like I'm actually going through like a phase like right now as we're recording this of like, there's things that I'm doing in my business, how we're operating that are like not who I am anymore. You know, it's things that were created years ago to do it in a certain way because I thought I needed to do it in a certain way in order to achieve this level of whatever. And I'm coming to a place now where I'm just like, I can't do that. I had a meeting with my team right before we recorded this podcast where I was like, hey guys, this thing that we've done in our business for the last 7 years that has brought in $11 million, I'm done today.
Yeah.
Like
today.
Yeah. I know, dude. I know.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
I'm so excited.
It is killing my soul. And what's really challenging is like, it's like there's a part of me that like knows how to drive results, knows how to get results in business, but it's not the truest of the true of the true of the true of the true of like, if I'm really honest with myself, I don't like it. Don't like it. And so what is yes, it's brought in $11 million, but what has been the energetic cost to my soul, to my happiness, to my energy, to my livelihood? And what if I was to take all of that energy and put it into something I actually love doing? You know, podcasting, speaking, content, whatever it is. It's like,
yes.
So it's just so interesting how these fragments of our personality and of our trauma make their way in, and they can look so intelligent and put together. Like my high achiever, like she's like a badass bitch. You know what I mean?
I've seen her. Oh yeah. She crushes.
She crushes. Like she is so smart. She is so intelligent. But is she the truth of who I am? No, she's a posture to keep me safe. And getting her checked.
Yes.
Dude, getting her checked, like every single, like checking that bitch on the bench, like every single, whenever she needs it is so important. And it's like when there's financial stake in the game, it's even harder. And so today, like when I announced that to my team, like my butthole was clenching because I was like, I know this is a financial risk for me and for you and for everybody. Yeah. But I can't keep doing it. I can't keep pretending. I can't. So anyway.
No, I fucking love that story so much. And here's my challenge. So I was speaking on a mental health panel a couple of days ago in New York. And somebody asked a question about productivity. And my feeling around this is very different because I used to be a productivity coach. I used to teach people how to be more productive. And I was good at it. I was a performance and productivity coach up until that turning point. And, you know, very specifically, I still remember a time where like I was on a stage giving a talk about performance and productivity. And this was around the time of my burnout. And my burnout has started to manifest, you know, psychosomatically into an ulcer in my stomach.
Oh, wow.
And I remember going up on that stage, still my usual, like, you know, like charming, blah, blah, blah performance.
I'm the Asian Tony Robbins.
And, what's up? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, but like secretly, You know, I was just walking out, like sitting in my car depressed, and in my stomach was this searing white pain that was so bad that at one point I had to pause the talk and pull up a chair and sit down because what I told the audience was like, oh, let me like just take a, seat.
let me get intimate and casual with you guys. Yeah.
But like if I was being really intimate and casual, what I'll be saying is that the stomach pain I'm going through is so painful right now that if I continue standing, I think I'm going to pass out. And what I realized is that we are so over-indexed in productivity based on input. And what I mean by that is how much energy we're putting in. Like, am I maximizing every minute? And there's this pressure of constantly doing more because if you have more time, then you always can be doing more.
Yeah.
And where my shift has been now is that I think that we are under-indexing when it comes to productivity on joy.
No, yeah. Say more. Let's go.
Because joy is where we truly feel that sense. And people always think, oh, so like just like do more creative arts, but I need to make money. I need to pay the bills. I'm like, that is where you're going to find the best ROI for who you are supposed to be and get paid doing it. I genuinely see this time and time again. Yeah. Leaders are better leaders when they are just fully aligned with what they truly believe and are good at.
Yeah,
we are just better creators because our inner child gets all the parts of us gets to come out of play.
Yes, 100%.
It's like amazing.
It's like really optimizing for zone of genius, which is, does this thing give me energy? Is it a win for the audience? Is it a win for me? Is it a win for the business? Is it a win? Here's the problem with high achievers is we get caught in our zone of excellence. Am I like, and that's where I was with running all of these live events online all the time, all these webinars. It's like, it was my zone of excellence. Was I good at it? Yeah. Hell yeah, I was good at it. I've done 567 fucking events. Like, of course I'm good at it. Is it good for the audience? Yeah, it's good for the audience because yay, they love it. They love the value. Is it good for the business? 100%, $11 million, say less, right? It's like, but it's draining me. And people around me was like, Sam, that's crazy. Don't stop doing that. It's $11 million. It's only 3 hours a month. Come on. It's not 3 hours a month. It is a freaking drain. And it's like, when we prioritize for joy, when we prioritize for zone of genius, when we prioritize for, is this a fair energy exchange? Like, is this like, is the ROI on this like, then it's sustainable. We can do that all day long. Like, I will do a keynote speech in front of an audience every day of my life until I die if I need to, because I'm obsessed. It gives me so much energy. I'm obsessed with it. It's my zone of genius. I love it. So it's like double down on joy, and it's like money responds to joy. Money responds to vibration.
Yeah, we connect through the vibration of our authenticity. We just have a natural magnetism that can come out when we're tapped into that space. Yeah. And you could feel it in your body. Like I feel it in my stomach. I breathe deeper. I feel more connected. And that energy is so different when I'm coming out in performance mode and I'm just pretending. Yeah. Or like I'm like forcing myself to 100%. Like, oh yeah, like I gotta go give a talk today. Like I'm doing a keynote and I'll show up and I'll be like, hey everyone, I'm talking straight. I like my voice comes from my face and my throat. Yes. Ooh. But when I'm connected and aligned, my voice comes from my body. Yeah. And there's energy there and there's strength there and people respond to that. It's such a big 100%. Difference.
100%. Yeah. It's so interesting, actually. Like, I did a keynote a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago now in Austin, and I got off stage, and I love this about Eric. Like, he's so honest about my performances always. Like, he never blows smoke up my ass. Like, if it's shit, he'll be like, that was not good. And he'll be like, I'll get off stage, and he'll be like, hey babe, let's spend some time later on tonight. I want to like help you like refine a few pieces of that. And that always means that wasn't your best work.
That's a very kind way. Eric is a good communicator.
Oh, he's so great. He's the best. So I got off stage and he's like, that was flawless. He's like, that, your projection, your embodiment, your alignment. He's like, your voice was rippling the audience. And I felt that, like when he named that, I was like, oh, that came from the deepest part of me. I delivered that from the deepest part of me. And then a couple of days ago, I was doing a live webinar, and he knocks on my office when I'm done. He's like, you were forcing that. He's like, that was coming from your head. That was coming from your head, right? He's like, you were trying so hard. He's like, when you try hard, people feel it. And he's so right, right? So right. So anyway, it's just so wild. It's like, how can we love ourselves enough to value our energy so much that we're only exchanging it when it's giving us energy back? That's the ultimate.
Yeah. Energy is not something, like, we think of energy like a battery. Like, a lot of people talk about motivation and they're like, oh, how do I be more motivated? And what they want is basically like some secret to recharge your battery. And I'm like, you don't need to be on battery. Why are you running on battery power? Why are you depleting? You are the energy creator. You are the energy channeler.
Yes.
Like, energy should flow like, I don't know, like Wi-Fi. It just comes through you. Can you tell I work with a lot of people who are more on the tech side, who are guys who are... It's more like Wi-Fi. They're like, okay, I get it. Yeah, man, I get the Wi-Fi now. When I don't talk about the source.
Yeah. Like protein.
Yeah, it's like protein. Yeah, you got to like replace. But it's so true. Like, when we're talking about, in the book or Big Asian Energy, like, really what I'm talking about is big U energy. Like, where do we tap into where that source is so true and so deep to you that it is unapologetic? Because it being left out is not doing the world a service. Like, your truth, your power, your energy source, your light is needed. Like, that's why you're here on the planet, is to let your light be seen. Because it's what lights the world up.
100%. 100%.
Yeah. And to give permission to the people around you to let their light be seen.
Yeah. In my experience, what I've learned about life force and aliveness and like energy optimization is like, my definition of it is, of aliveness, is when life force is flowing through your body with zero obstruction, right? It's like, how can we just allow that life force to flow through us with zero obstruction? And it's kind of reminds me of how we started this conversation with the compliment, right? It's like when we receive a compliment and we let that compliment flow through our body, it's life force, receptivity, it's energy. And then the obstruction would be like the shame that like, boom, hot potatoes that compliment back to be like, no, you're amazing, It's like, how do we then, if we're going for energy optimization, if we're going for aliveness, how do we look at all of the things in our life that is fully blocking our aliveness physically, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And so when you're supporting people with energy optimization, like, what are some of the ways in which you help them take a look at that, to just be like, what's going on in your life that's causing this?
Oh, it's a great question. Okay. I like the analogy that we're all in a bus. And when we say we're like the various parts of us. No.
Choo-choo for a bus. That's so wrong.
or, I mean, it could be a train. We could take this metaphor. But like, we have a bus. And this is something I learned, if anyone here is familiar with parts work, this is where I learned it from. But essentially, it's like there's various different parts of us that are all sitting in the bus together, right? So I have my inner child. I also have like a wounded part. I also have like the achiever part. I also have these things. They all exist because at some point they were necessary to survive. So like, there's that people pleaser part of me that's like sitting in the bus, who learned at a young age that the best way to get love is to be needed. Because when you are doing things for everyone else around you, when you are doing things to give parts of you away, when you are burning yourself out, then you're needed. And to be needed means it's okay if you're not wanted.
Ooh, that's good.
And that little part of me gets so scared every single time somebody comes closer, because his way of being is, I need to make myself useful. So he'll run to the front of the bus and he'll grab the wheels every time love gets close, and he'll be like, no, like we haven't earned that love yet. We have to prove to them that we're indispensable. We have to prove to them that we can be always useful, because one day they'll get to know the real us and they'll leave. I hope we're ready to deep dive today.
We here. We're on Can't Be Contained. Let's go.
Yeah. That's it. Let's contain out of it. Right. So where that learning for me was having the adult self come in and say, okay, let's take a look at that pattern. Like, let's take a look at what that fear is. And can I give myself that reassurance that I'm not going anywhere? I'm here with you. I'm never leaving you. You are beautiful. You are good enough. You are amazing. And it's when we talk about self-love, that to me is what that is, like loving that part that needs to hear it. And then go, okay, be good. Like, do you want us to take a sit down? And, I'll take control of the wheel now. We're good. And then we come back online. So the real first step is looking at where that reactive part of us that taught us to self-silence, to self-censor, to self-minimize, to self-diminish, whatever that is, to self-sacrifice. Where is that coming from? What does that part need to hear? And then once that part's out, man, every time I see people when they come out the other side, they are a totally different human being.
Yeah. 100%.
They are in their superpower.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Yeah. Yeah, what's wild is we've been sold this lie that our power comes from our achievements and our status and our resilience and our blah. And in my experience, the greatest power that we have is through the portal of love and softness. It's like the more soft we can be with ourselves, the more solid we become. And then power is not this thing that we have to posture for. It's just this flowing, natural feeling of just true freaking power. I was on a call the other day with an entrepreneur that I'm mentoring right now, and she has a social impact business, and she was saying how her leadership, she's like, I need you to help me with my leadership style. And I was like, what's going on? She's like, well, I just feel like I'm overpowering people all the time. Like I feel like in order to get results, I'm in this like distorted power. And I was like, and let me guess, you're attracting team members that have disowned their power. And she's like, oh, yes. Oh my God. I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, that's the way that pattern works. It's like, if you're trying to create change through overpowering manipulation, like power over, you are only going to attract people who have disowned their power because their dad did that to them.
Oh, yeah.
So you're literally creating the family structure within your organization. Of course, it's a shit show. Of course, you hate it. Of course, you think your employees suck. When we meet people in true power, that's where we get to be equal power. Yeah. Equal power, just different power, right? My power is different than your power. But again, for us to do that, we have to be self-responsible and meet ourselves in those little places of like, I'm going to heal the part of me that feels unsafe so I don't go into distorted power. I'm going to heal the part of me that doesn't feel safe so I don't collapse and go into disowned power. So power dynamics, baby. Whew.
It's all power dynamics. That is a beautiful way to put that. And it's always from how have we learned this, right? Because like a lot of people think this is personality or something you're born with. And I'm like, personality exists, but so much of our way of being were learned behaviors or learned beliefs about who we are. Yeah. And we just suck at reading. Like I love the journal, the journal analogy, right? Like we are writing our own book every single day. You are writing the next chapter any moment. Like right now you are writing what your day is, who you are in the world. But take a look at your pages that have been written and notice, was it only you who's been writing in it? Yeah. Or has there other people, your family? Yeah. And speaking of attraction, I find that because of my own beliefs of it, I think we're really good at finding the parts that the unhealthy, the toxic parts. What are you talking about? I know nothing about that. Like we have a radar for it, right? Wow. It's so funny how quickly that becomes. But what a powerful mirror at the same time.
Why did God design it like that? It's like the person you're most attracted to is the person who's the most toxic for you.
I think because God wants us to learn our lessons.
It's actually pretty intelligent design, but damn, it's annoying because then you're like, oh, that's my husband. And it's like, no, that's just, that person's here to break you down so you meet yourself in those dark places and then move on and find the one.
Yeah. And what if that's part of the journey of why we're here, right? Speaking of
I wish we got the playbook, though. God was like, I'm like, hey, God, blink twice if this ain't it. Blink twice if this is a lesson. Like, come on, that's so cruel.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, God.
Oh, God.
Get your act together.
God, you're amazing, but you designed this in a weird way. The other weird one is like the duality of pain and suffering. It's like pain is this beautiful thing that we get to experience to evolve us into the next level, and then suffering is just like absolutely cruel. But in the body, the sensation feels the same. How the crappity crap do we tell the difference?
Well, okay. So you were talking about, is there a thing? My first thought was, I mean, wasn't there a book written specifically around this? Wasn't that the Bible?
I was going to say, is it Big Asian Energy? Is it your book?
Oh my God.
Is it your new book that's coming out?
Wasn't there a book that talks about the divine truth of all things called Big Asian Energy?
There's a New Testament of Big Asian Energy.
There's a New Testament. This is what
the Bible,
it means.
The Bible. That's right.
I really love religious texts. I think that there's so much truth to so many aversions. I think that humans, we kind of fucked it up in how, we took it to make it about power struggle and organizations, and I don't love that part, but the original ideas that were there. I mean, let's take Christ and Christ consciousness, Jesus Christ, and his message. His messages were so incredibly simple, but the answers were all there. Yeah. I genuinely think that that's to be the case. I'm talking about the basic things like treating your neighbors, loving thy neighbors as one would love themselves. Yeah. If we were taking a look at so many of the messages and we see that as a metaphor for how we interrelate with who we are, and the compassion and the kindness and the acceptance and that, it was there. It was so incredibly powerful. We just sometimes forget about it.
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do after this interview? I'm going to go onto ChatGPT and I'm going to say, give me the top 50 most powerful, beautiful lessons in the Bible from the original, Because I bet you they're beautiful. It's like, God's going to blink twice if it's your person. What's so funny? I saw this shirt on Instagram the other day that I got targeted with, and it was like this shirt of like Jesus Christ, and there was this quote that said, "Oh my God, you guys, I didn't say that." I was like, "That's funny."
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying is that, like, if we go back to the original ideas and the essences behind that, the compassion, the kindness, the message was always there. And I think that we as people, we distort it for our own personal gain.
Yeah. I think I might go buy that shirt because it's true. It's like the original text, the original lessons, the original, it's just it's so good. It's so good. Beautiful. Dude, I am so grateful that we had this conversation. I'm so stoked for your book coming out. I actually had this thought, this memory a couple years ago of us being in our garage and us doing a mastermind and us really, just chilling.
Fucking up some whiteboards?
Yeah. That's what I say all the time.
I still remember what you said. I was like, I love that. I'm going to use that. Go fuck
I
up some
say that
whiteboards.
all the time. I was on the phone to one of my friends yesterday, actually, and she's like, "Oh, I have this business idea, but I don't know if it's super aligned with my soul." I was like, "Let's get together, let's fuck up some whiteboards, and let's figure it out." I love it. So that's what we did. That's right, at my house. We fucked up some whiteboards, and we figured it out.
The idea came, was sparked and grown partly in your freaking garage. Isn't that amazing? Crazy?
I know. I went on to bigasianenergy.com and I saw your header and I was like, we are the ceiling breakers. I was like, I remember that moment of us
we talked about that.
in my garage.
Oh man. So I mean, this is I think comes back down to like it. If you take a look at that, it was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Like it's nuts. Like next week, I'm gonna have a billboard in Times Square with my picture of my book in it.
Dude, I have like, full body goosies.
Isn't that crazy? Like I was in New York. I was talking. I went to the Penguin Random House offices, and I got to see my and I saw my book like on the shelves, which is an incredible thing. By the way, can we just take a quick moment?
Let's do it. Yes.
So if you're on video, if people are on video right now, this is huge because this is actually the first time my publisher sent me the real first copy of my book.
Oh my gosh.
So hopefully this is actually my book and not just.
I told John, I'm like, it'd be so embarrassing if like his wife sent you like a book on, you know, something inappropriate. And now we're just unboxing it on the show.
Okay, good. I'm
Let's hope.
Just checking. It's the real one. Da, 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 da. Oh, nope.
Rip it open. Wow.
Whoa!
Dude, big Asian energy.
It's here.
Let's go.
So think about it. It's nuts. Like this. So this is what I want to share. It starts off with an idea. And it continues with the relentless belief in that if it's important to you, it's true to you, it will find a path. This is my first time. I never thought that I would be like a published author at the time. I was just like, it's just a cool idea. I want to talk about this, and it's here.
Yeah,
and it looks amazing.
So amazing.
Oh my gosh, this is.
Oh my gosh, that's the first time you've had the real copy in your hand.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is real. I've had. So, okay, this is the prop version they sent me. This is just the cover. It's not even my book. They gave me a version with another book because I was like, I need a version. I need to put it on my.
That's
this
hilarious.
Is the
Here's
book.
a prop. So good, so good.
But this comes from what? Trusting exactly what we're talking about all day, right? Like, are we trusting that voice? Are we trusting ourselves? There's pictures, guys.
So good.
Charts.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
Dude, congrats.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
God. Oh my
Thank
God.
you.
I just love when people say yes to the call. You know, it makes me so happy. I'm just like, when people say yes to that little seed of inspiration, they don't let fear get in the way and they just keep following. You know, I get to see it with like our breathwork facilitators that come in, our mastermind students, just like doing the thing. Because we live in such an abundant universe that literally anything is possible. Anything's possible. Anything's possible. So it's just so rad to see amazing people do epic work. So share a little bit about Big Asian Energy, who it's for, and how to get it.
I originally wrote it as like a guide for, quiet Asians who want to be seen. But truthfully, I think at this point, the more I wrote about it, the bigger it became. I think it can be for anyone who wants to find how to embody the true self of who we are. And the book talks about how our childhood or family or even cultural, societal experiences that taught us who we are supposed to be can create a layer of conditioning that might help us, be very helpful, or it could be in our way. And at the core of it is how do we step into our power, our assertiveness, and see that light underneath. Find those little cracks where the light is seeping through and go, okay, that's where I'm going to tap into to step into our biggest, most powerful selves.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So powerful. So powerful.
Pre-orders.
Pre-orders, let's go, baby. BigAsianEnergy.com. BigAsianEnergy.com. I'll pop the link in the show notes. You guys go buy the book, go get a copy. John is an absolute genius wizard at helping people really step into their power and their passion and just live lives being fully turned on. Let's go.
Let's
Thanks
go.
for coming on the show, dude. Thanks for just
kidding? Thanks for having me.
Love. Yeah, always.
So
always,
beautiful.
always.
All day, every day.
Amazing. And then where can people follow you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, all the places. On Instagram, I'm John Wang Official. On TikTok, I'm John Wang Bae, B-A-E for Big Asian Energy. Facebook, all the other places. YouTube, all the things.
I thought you just said John Wang Baby. That's not what you said.
No, but like it's base is spelled B-A-E, right? When I saw that was available, I'm like, I'm taking it.
Like,
I am John Wang Bae.
Game over. That's happening. Oh my gosh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for just
Thanks for
shining your
having
light
me.
in the world and going after your inner calls and supporting people. So you the best.
You the best. Love it.
Can't be contained.